to go next. It goes without saying that New York City should have a saloon scene second to none, and Gotham hits the mark in spades. The #1 bar in the city? Well, it's also #1 on Uber Guide's list of legendary bars, the 21 Club, the ultimate place on the planet to wet your whistle. The 21 Club is both a restaurant and bar. It opened its doors for the first time to the who's who of New York back in 1930.
From the get-go, it was quite a well-heeled crowd. We were known to have the best champagnes, the finest Bordeaux, great cigars, and wonderful food.
It was actually a really bad time to open a restaurant like this. And when you consider Prohibition, you can't serve any liquor at all, and the Depression, like no one has any money to spend.
An officially certified speakeasy, it served out illegally.
First you came to the front door and there was a bell there. If they didn't recognize you, they would ring the bell and people would scatter.
If they got raided, they could hide the evidence. They could sweep the bottles off the bar and it would go down a chute into the New York City sewers.
And the federal agents came in. Did you know J. Edgar Hoover wanted nothing more than to catch someone famous at 21? They spent 15 or 18 hours combing through the place. They never found a single drop of liquor.
Famous regulars included actor Humphrey Bogart.
Bogart and Lauren Bacall had their first date here, and then he ended up proposing to her here in the bar room.
Bogart was a big regular. We have a brass plaque behind his table. Quite a few stories of him having a very good time here.
I remember reading lists of the guests. You can't imagine a restaurant in Hollywood or New York having that many Hollywood celebrities in the room in one night.
Today, the history of the 21 Club starts on the ceiling. Yes, the ceiling.
We have the original pool cue from The Hustler, John McEnroe's tennis racket. We have JFK gave us a PT boat, Frank Gifford's football helmet, Arnold Palmer's golf club.
They call them toys, which I find very funny because they're toys for big boys. They're not little kid toys, and they're the kind of toys the Sotheby's would like very much to auction off right now because they're some of the most priceless artifacts you could probably get.
The first toy was given to us by Howard Hughes, model of the Spruce Goose, and so Howard Hughes gets his toy on the ceiling, and every other wheeler dealer in New York wants to get their toy on the ceiling.
You look at the ceiling and you know that there's so many incredible stories, and you just can sit there and sort of imagine these fabulous people that, all these toys went up because of and why they meant something to them.
A lot of bars have memorabilia. It's usually a nice word for a lot of dusty crap on the walls, but at 21 it's like real memorabilia that's priceless and quite unique. That is the pedigree of 21 that makes it so different from any other place in New York and really in the world.
A lineup of jockeys greets you just outside the front door. The first one was given to the club by the Vanderbilts. Inside, the walls are covered in Western-style art, a pastime that began with the original owners. But for a bar to be successful, it needs a little more than cool memorabilia on the ceiling and walls. The drinks have to be the tops, and there's no doubt they are here.
21 Club is probably the best place to go in New York if you want a classic cocktail.
Mirko, the daytime bartender, has been here for almost 20 years. Knows how to coddle guests, knows what a lot of people like. The regulars come in and he's got the drink already it's already prepared by the time they get to the bar. That makes it pretty special.
If you want a perfectly made cocktail, if you want it served exquisitely, if you want a meal that's probably one of the best meals of your life, you would come here.
The booze is stored downstairs.
All right, just watch your step going down.
In the very same secret wine cellar that stumped the feds so long ago.
You can imagine there were a series of these alcoves that went the whole way down the wall. This is the key. It's a meat skewer. If you listen closely, snaps the lock.
The hidden door weighs 2.5 tons. And on the other side of this massive entrance, perhaps the finest collection of wine in the world.
They have an exquisite wine cellar, 20,000 bottles down there.
In this area is where we store a lot of the private stock. And we have wines from President Richard Nixon. We have Elizabeth Taylor. Quite a collection of private stock down here. And watch your step into the section 17.
Once you make your way through the wine cellar, you'll find yourself in the most uber-exclusive dining room on the planet.
So as you can see, this is a private room.
It's a gorgeously appointed room. It's very, very unique dining experience.
And that is where Mayor Jimmy Walker would bring his lady friends. And during one of the raids, he made the call to the police department, and he had all the federal agents' cars towed.
With a history like this, it's no surprise that the 21 Club still caters to New York's creme de la creme.
We have a lot of regulars, a lot of powerful New Yorkers who come in, governors and mayors and senators and, actors.
The upper levels of New York society, the people on the national scene, it's never fallen off the radar socially. It's one of the biggest power lunch in New York. And you look around the room, it's like the pages of the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times come to life.
People are friendly and it's a fun, festive environment. They treat me like a family member. It's wonderful.
I am made to feel like I am as important as anybody else here, and that makes a lot of difference to me.
People are kind of close together and they strike up conversations with their neighbors, and it's just a grand old party.
There is quite simply no other tavern anywhere on earth that can match what the 21 Club has to offer, which is why it's #1 on our uber legendary bar list.